Great animation, great story. I could watch this movie all day long. When I last saw it, I was sitting next to Roy Disney at the Disney Studio screening room watching this. I gotta say, this is not my type of movie. Hey everybody, John Pomeroy here, and welcome to Animator Reacts. Today we're gonna take a look at one of my favorite animated films, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And then we're gonna take a look at a brand new film that has taken the world by storm, K-pop Demon Hunters. And then we're gonna take another look at a short film you've probably never heard of, created by two legends you probably had no idea had worked together. All right, let's start off the episode with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I really enjoyed this film when it came out. I'm so excited to hop in and break down some of these scenes.
No one knows. No one knows.
No, I gotta say, that was really a cool little camera drift there. It's fun when you see the camera acting as an animated character itself. It lends to some of the emotional impact of the sequence, even though it's low-key. Miles is just walking through, the school corridors, but it's just a nice touch. I think it looks really, really good.
Am I the weird guy now? What am I doing? How do I stop?
You can definitely see the comic book influence in all of this by just the framing of his reaction to off-screen students making comments at him. Suddenly the framing is clear on the other side, almost bisecting his face, and you could see his eye reacting. Then it shifts over to the other side. Love that kind of stuff.
I know you snuck out last night, Morales.
Play dumb. Who's Morales? Not that dumb.
Nice action, just from an animator's point of view, him sliding across the floor, regaining his footing, and then running into the screen. Good stuff.
Ow! Morales, open up!
From an animator's standpoint, it's great to see the use of squash and stretch, simply to get energy and impact and cause and effect with the action. The dynamics is just really plussed here with some great use of squash and stretch. Love that. Drag and overlap, all the principles of animation are exhibited so beautifully in some of these scenes.
Why is this happening? Please stop sticking.
I'm really enjoying in their final color and rendering of the characters. It's a nice combination of line, color, and highlight. It's a difficult thing to do in animation when you're rendering all this together, and they've done it beautifully. I don't know what software they were using for their paint box or their final color, but it has a great feel to it. I really enjoy watching it. It doesn't get in the way of the story or the action at all. It enhances it. It's a different way of depicting animated characters than have been done in the past with CG shading and tonal value and texturing and all of that, texture mapping and everything. This one was unique to me. And it almost looked like every frame had a brush stroke to it. It had a kind of a raw energy, a rugged energy, if you will, that just comes off the screen. It's exciting. It's graphically exciting. There's a lot of really cool animation in this movie, but the style just comes to a peak in this particular scene.
Leap of faith.
Like, what's up, danger? Like, what's up, danger?
I really like the variety of timing in this sequence, with slow against quick fall against pedestrian timing. It just adds really nice texture in the whole sequence.
Can't stop me now. Travel 200 miles, I'm knocking at your door. And I don't really care if you ain't done wrong.
You can really feel his impact with the moving environment, the moving reality, Miles colliding basically with that street scene and with all that's going on around him. Great animation, great story. I could watch this movie all day long, but now we've got to hop on to the next film. Before we hop into our next clip, I just want to remind you viewers that we're going to be doing new videos like this every week, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on our latest uploads. So sticking with our Sony animation theme, let's hop right into their newest project, K-pop Demon Hunters.
Write a brand new song, a diss track to expose the Saja Boys, and send those disgusting demons back to the depths where they belong!
Yeah!
I gotta say, you know, this is not my type of movie. It's just, you know, there are some movies I really like and some movies, you know, that's okay. But it's like, but they've built their comic beats, I think, really well. I really like the transition from the, you know, K-pop Demon Hunters reality into this pseudo manga type of extreme. I'm gonna draw this one girl. Actually, I'll draw both of them. They extend the fun of it by going into stages, which I thought was kind of fun. So it doesn't all happen at once, but they have that cross-eyed look, flared nostrils, and really extreme mouths. What's fun, what they did here, and this is what animation is ultimately all about, whether it's Disney style, Warner Brothers, Tex Avery style, or manga, or, you know, anime. They did a thing here with the teeth, that they just stretched the teeth, which I thought was kind of fun. So that expression I thought was kind of fun. And then you've got the one gal in the middle, she kind of does this wall-eyed expression. The excitement is so registered that her eyes distort and the mouth just opens up huge. Love that. And you could take exaggeration to the ultimate. We even distort the shape of the head to get almost this pinhead-like shape to it. Shoulders up and out. Good job. I love that. Okay, so let's hop into that next clip. And I just want to mention this is kind of a fun side-to-side of the actual animation alongside the live action that they used.
Oh, okay, great. Well then, I might as well just tear these all.
Rumi, we don't have time to change the lyrics even if we wanted to. The Idol Awards are tomorrow.
Cool stuff. I mean, I think they made great use of their live action reference. Live action reference gets you a jumping off point. It will give you some, you know, ideas for tentpole key extremes, but then as an animator, your responsibility is to take it further and exaggerate those things. Sometimes the live action can be right on point. Sometimes it could be kind of low key and just off base, and you'd end up throwing it out. But every once in a while, like in this case, you end up with some really gold material, and I could see that the animators took that, they fleshed it out, and they pushed it to the next extreme level. Good job. So before we move on to the next clip, I just want to mention something that I saw right off the bat, and it's something that I think needs addressing. There's a thing that I come across, not just in this movie, but every so often, even in Disney movies, Bluth movies, even in some of my own scenes. I have to be careful. When you're trying to show exuberance in a character, this particular character, I just kind of rough out the head here. There's a threshold that you got to be careful of in making the character go from energetic to just plain cross-eyed. And I think, to me, it ruins the effect if the eyes are getting too close to the one side. And I think rather than have this kind of treatment, she's looking almost out at the viewer, at the audience. If they could have just moved the pupil just a little bit more centered, just a touch, it would have worked. So I just want you to be aware of that threshold of where you're wanting that character to be looking. And instead of creating a character that's cross-eyed, create a character that's excited but still looking at the audience. So I would, for me personally, I would avoid this kind of treatment of the eyes so close to the edge, inside edge of the eye, and try to keep it more centered. You can bring them in a little bit, but just be careful and be sensitive about making it too close. That's all I wanted to say. Now for our hidden gem of this episode, a short film created by Walt Disney and Salvador Dali called Destino. When Roy decided to complete this work, he had to take up where Walt and his story crew left off. So I don't know if any of it was animated yet. I know pretty much it might have been thoroughly storyboarded, but the story might have been worked out back then, some of the backgrounds. There might have been some animation done at that time, but kudos to Roy and his crew for bringing it all together and completing this work that Walt and Salvador Dali started back in mid-1940s, I think. Well, that's interesting. So she has a hole in her heart. I'm sorry for being the armchair psychologist here. It's like the story is about her wanting to fill that hole in her heart with a love of some sort. And there's frustration involved, I guess, in her searching for that love and fulfillment. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen this. When I last saw it, I was sitting next to Roy Disney at the Disney Studio screening room watching this. And it was a piece that was dear to Roy because he wanted to complete it and, to further on the legacy, the artistic legacy of Walt Disney. Walt, was not always stuck in one genre of storytelling. He was always exploring and experimenting with different ways to tell his stories. I mean, he did it with Silly Symphonies. Then he did it with the first successful full-length animated feature, Snow White, and then with Pinocchio, and then he tried concert feature pieces that were in Fantasia. And he was just breaking new ground, trying out new things. All of this was like a tidal wave of creativity moving towards eventually TV appearances, TV shows, the amusement parks, Disneyland and Disney World, and just on and on and on. But it's an amazing piece to watch, and I was fortunate enough to, see the expression on Roy Disney's face with delight. All right, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.